let's look at the demeanor of Wontumi when he was given 20 years with hard labor.
The man himself obviously is always on high spirits, but something shifted quickly when, because when the judgment was being read, I mean, they were all laid back. Everybody was calm. They were keenly listening to the judgment until came sentencing. And when it was pronounced, the demeanor suddenly changed, because I thought what didn't sink in for him was whether he was going to do 24 Akuntamanins guilty, because I mean, he is as good as his company. And so whether he was going to do 40, until then the idea of concurrent running of the sentencing came. Even that did not calm him. The man suddenly changed, and clearly the accounts will say Bibia Pembemabo. All the, I spoke to a few people whose names, again, I would not mention on air, and clearly you can tell it is not as quiet as some people would want to have us believe.
Okay, let's look at, after the judgment, outside the court premises, let's look at supporters. What were some of the conversations they were having after the ruling? Right,
so supporters were hugely disappointed. Some of the political rhetoric they were reading into that, I would not regurgitate on air, but clearly some supporters were disappointed. But then there were a few women who were huddled together, and they were proper crying, wailing, as if Wontumi had died. And I went close to them, and I was like, well, maybe you didn't understand the sentence. And one said,
yeah.
You understand? And so I was like, okay, maybe I don't really understand what you feel or what he means to you, but then this particular sentiment says everything it is. And then you move to party hierarchy. One of the young men who recently is speaking for Wontumi in his bid to become the Ashanti Regional, the national chairman for the party, a very popular face on television. And on the sides of the court, I spoke to a lawyer whom you'll be very surely speaking to. I wouldn't give his name away, but very surely he will be speaking to GBC News. I remember mentioning to him that today I have seen what every man will fight to avoid. That this particular individual, to shed tears in court, on the front court of the courthouse, is not a thing that any man would want to see. And for me, that spoke huge volumes about what the immediate circle of Wontumi is considering, what they're doing currently.